ASB Delegate Assembly is the morning of conference at 9 a.m.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order our Monday, October the 22nd, regular board meeting and work session. Would someone like to read the approval of our agenda?
Yep, I move that the agenda of Monday, October 22nd, 2018 Board of Education meeting be approved as set forth, and that each item is considered ready for discussion and/or action.
Do we have a second?
Second.
This is a roll call.
Director Borcherding? Aye. Director Anhalt?
Aye.
Director Laverty?
Aye.
President Humbles?
Aye. Next, we'll have a report by Dr. Buck.
All right, thanks, President Humbles. So a few items tonight. First one is last Friday morning was an especially exciting day for students, teachers, and administrators who participated in the Transition Center's Amazing Race. Students and staff were broken up into teams to compete in different challenges designed to familiarize students with how to use public transportation, obey traffic signals, and interact with businesses. The race took place throughout the downtown and Newbo neighborhoods, and I had a wonderful time joining the students in this activity that empowers young adults by developing these real-life skills which support their independence. And then we also did a buck stop on that this week, so if you have a chance to watch that buck stop, I got a really nice bucket-filling shout-out as part of the, which I was not anticipated but was very kind. I recently shared with you details about our efforts to serve our growing ELL population. At this time, we have more than 1,500 students who speak a native language other than English. While not all of these students are in our ELL program, every one of those students and their families deserves access to information as it relates to our schools. I'm excited to report that 14 new interpreters are going through the hiring process, and we look forward to what this means in the way of accessibility of information to support each of our students on their pathway to graduation. A group of Metro students and staff recently traveled to the Boundary Waters in northern Minnesota for an annual fall canoe trip. Students spent a week learning the skills and mindsets necessary to overcome the environment and weather. They also learned about natural resources and physical and mental wellness. The Metro Outdoor Education Program offers students opportunities to experience nature, engage in academic enrichment, and reflect on their lives. The program traditionally offers a fall and spring trip, and for those that have been to the Metro graduation before, this is often a highlight that's mentioned as part of the graduation process. Our district's extremely honored to announce that we were nominated for and will be receiving the Community Empowerment Award at the 76th NAACP Freedom Fund Banquet on Saturday, October 27th. The Community Empowerment Award is given to a community organization, church, or civic group that has strongly supported the well-being of the community by focusing on areas such as economic growth, education, and/or political and social justice. So this is an awesome honor for us, and we are excited about it for our district. It was a successful weekend of extracurricular events and competitions for our high schools as the fall activities wrap up. I'd like to offer a hearty shout out to all of our high schools for the impressive, high-quality programs available to our students because of the world-class leaders who serve as coaches, advisors, and volunteers. We should be very proud of these offerings which support our vision of every learner future ready on and off the field. And a special congratulations goes out to Kennedy High School's debate team, which was recently recognized with the Leader Chapter Award from the National Speech and Debate Association. So congratulations to our Kennedy Cougars. Congratulations also to our family and consumer science teacher, Joan Steckel. She was just awarded the 2018 ProStart Educator of Excellence Award by the Iowa Restaurant Association Education Foundation. She was presented the award by incoming chairman of the National Restaurant Association Board of Directors, Joe Essa of Wolfgang Puck Worldwide in Las Vegas, and the chairman of the Iowa Restaurant Association Board of Directors, Darren Beck of Barmuda Companies in Cedar Falls. So let's enjoy this short video that highlights Joan's efforts.
Cedar Rapids Washington High School Family and Consumer Sciences teacher Joan Steckel knows how impactful a teacher can be in the life of a high school student. Joan opted to pursue a family and consumer science teaching degree in large part because of her deep admiration for her own high school FCS teacher, Sherry Petrick. A great teacher helps you see possibilities, says Joan. That drive to inspire is why Joan has worked so hard to build the ProStart program at Cedar Rapids, Washington. She's gone above and beyond traditional classroom teaching methods, forging relationships with industry professionals as mentors and finding unique hands-on culinary experiences for her students. This is not Joan's first foray into creating a quality ProStart program from the ground up. She first encountered the culinary and restaurant management curriculum in a South Dakota high school where she also taught FCS. I needed to find ways to show students how visible the career paths are in the food service industry, said Joan. ProStart, with its emphasis on management and culinary competitions, required work experience and connections to industry filled the bill. Joan has made strong connections with major food service distributors and award-winning chefs. Her students have collaborated with a Cedar Rapids chef to prepare the hors d'oeuvres at fundraising events, attend professional seminars, and competed in competitions. She truly strives every day to bring out the best in her students and helps them to realize the talent and confidence they have within. Her passion for her work and care and concern for her students makes Joan Steckel an ideal choice for the Iowa Restaurant Association Education Foundation's 2018 ProStart Educator of Excellence.
All right, congratulations
Yes.
again, Ms. Steckel. That's very nice. One other item, so you have this at your desks. On Friday, I had a chance to attend a regional vision, it's kind of the unveiling of this comprehensive development strategy for the 7-county area. So this is a project that Iowa City Area Development Group and Cedar Rapids Economic Alliance, Kirkwood, and several others have been working on for probably 36 months or so. But one of the things I was most excited about, if you open up that document and take a look at that framework on the inside, it's really an intent to, I should probably give the president one. There you go. Note to self, give the president the documents you're looking over. So if you look in that framework, it's exciting that on this 20-year vision, they really are taking a look at cradle to career. They're looking at business development. They're also looking at community development and acknowledging advancement of opportunity populations, the need for arts and culture, housing. It's really a comprehensive approach to moving our community and 7-county area forward. So I was excited at what I saw in here. And Cedar Rapids Schools will be involved in different portions of these action steps. So example, the Creative Career Pipeline talks about career connections with learning partners, additional opportunities for students for job shadowing, those types of things. And then also on some of the workforce development, strategies to support the retention of people of color, development of a program to strengthen positive workplace cultures. So I think there's a lot of things embedded in this plan that will also apply to Cedar Rapids schools. So looking forward to, and if you want to know more about it, there's a website, regional-vision.org, so you can take a look at what they're thinking about over the next 20 years. So with that.
Is that it?
Yep.
Are there any board reports?
I have something. Oh, Gary, go ahead. Well, I just started school visits these past couple of weeks and have just a little bit about each school that I visited. I visited Hiawatha, and Principal Probert there was kind enough to show me around. In addition to running a general education program, they also have a behavior focus program, a special ed program that serves severe and profound, and an ELL program. At that ELL program, I was able to watch a sequencing and sorting activity that was used to build the understanding of vocabulary, which was really great. Hiawatha also, it was interesting to watch them use the LETRS, LETRS program, which stands for Language Essentials for Teaching of Reading and Spelling. They have successfully used this and have found that they credit it in producing 11% point gain in their proficiency scores on FAST between spring of 2017 and spring of 2018. Also visited Jackson. Principal Duffy there showed me around. I was able to see the district's only deaf and hard of hearing program. Jackson also has a CLASS program, which stands for Continuous Learning Across the Autistic Spectrum Student. And those students have been integrated into general ed classes with improved academic and social results. Their behavioral strategist has also, they're new this year, have a behavior strategist, which has resulted in fewer office referrals. Jackson also has a PTA developed and maintained garden, which doubles as an outdoor classroom, allowing students to study plant cycles as well as acting as a terrarium for their insect explorations, which they were doing when I was there. It was really lots of bugs. They also qualified and received a Governor's STEM Advisory Council grant for pint-sized science. So that was really cool to kind of learn a little bit about that and what they've got going on. In addition to science, it also includes and English language skills and mathematics. So that was kind of cool. And then today got to visit Johnson STEAM Academy. STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics. Principal Lynch showed me around. In addition to being a magnet school, this was our first magnet school, Johnson STEAM Academy also has a class program and a multi-categorical program. This is the 4th year as a magnet school. Currently, Johnson is undergoing the Magnet School of America certification process and being considered for the Magnet School of America Merit Award, which speaks to the depth and integration of their curriculum infused with the STEAM curriculum and how it meets with our core programming. If JSA is awarded the Merit Award, it will be the first in the state to receive it. So that is pretty cool. Also witnessed exceptional instruction in classrooms using the multi-tiered system of supports program. That is a 3-tiered system that can be used for both academic supports and behaviors. That's it.
Thank you. Gary?
Just a couple of things. First of all, I attended the IASB Employee Relations Conference a week or so ago. And as always, it's always a learning experience. I wanted to point out, and there's an attachment to to the board meeting tonight on resources that are available on the website, IASB, and I didn't realize how powerful they are. No, we get a lot of good information from our staff, but I know every once in a while there's in-between meetings and so on, a question will come up about maybe how does our salaries compare to other districts? What's our enrollment compared to other districts, and a whole variety of things. You can go on the website, and the handout that I shared with you will show you how to go to the different areas. But you can, for instance, you could do a salary comparison of five districts that are better or higher than us, and 5 districts that are lower. You could do that comparison to region. You could do it by location. You could do it by size. You can set some of those parameters in that search. So there's a lot of information that's available that we receive as being members of IASB. It is password locked, so you have to log in order to go to the toolbox. But I just thought I would pass that along, some really good information. The other is as one of the legislative contacts, I voted today. Voting is open. Went down to the auditor's office, and I have to say that they had a nice stream of people, but they also were well-staffed, so there was very little waiting. You can do that now until, I think, the day before election. There's also satellite voting that's available. The sites that are left tomorrow, today until 8 o'clock, you can register at the Hiawatha, or vote at the Hiawatha Community Center, the Anderson Community Center in Center Point, and the Ely Public Library. But tomorrow, the Cedar Rapids Library from 4 to 8, the Cedar Rapids Ladd Library 4 to 8, the Marion Library 4 to 8, and on October 26th, the last satellite voting will be of Mission of Hope from 1 to 7. So lots of opportunity. I would encourage public to get out and do their civic duty and vote.
Thank you. Next, we move to communications, delegations, and petitions. Do we have any requests to speak before the board?
No, we do not.
Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is there any board members that have items that they would like to have pulled for a separate discussion? I have one.
Okay.
I'd like a separate vote on BA 19162. If we could do a separate vote, because I'm on the board of ASAT. So then what we will do is move to a vote on the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second,
Second.
I believe this is a roll call due to the personnel report.
Director Jacobo.
Aye.
Director Anhalt.
Aye.
Director Laverty.
Aye.
Director Borcherding.
Aye.
Aye. Now we move into a work session.
Could we just do a separate vote then on the
Oh, a
ASAP?
separate, I'm sorry, I
Yep.
forgot, I'm the
And
one that
that-
pulled it.
That would just be a voice vote, not a roll call vote.
Okay. So how do we do that?
So you would just ask for all those in favor on the agreement with the ASAP to approve by saying aye.
All those in approval of the ASAC?
Aye.
You could approve by saying aye.
Those
And I-
opposed? Opposed, same sign.
Opposed, same sign?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Next, now we're going to the information item with our Board Equity Development, Rod Dooley. I don't know how you want us to set this up. Do you want us to move down?
Yes,
Or
I think we're gonna move down and do some and participate.
Where's the logo? Oh, there it is.
I will sign you guys out with a computer.
Nope, I don't want to. Nobody signed up.
Okay. Did she say that?
Too late.
Hi. How are you?
I think this is scheduled for an hour.
Come on down, I'll get your laptops for you.
Okay. How you doing, Raphael?
Oh, do we have an extra one?
Well, no, there's no.
Oh, sure, yeah, let's pull it out then.
All right, well, Lord, we're so excited about this opportunity to engage in an equity discussion and continue to grow our mindsets around equity. And I've got a couple of slides to go over, and then we're going to get up and we're going to move around a little bit, okay? You can see that we've got some folks in the audience here who we're going to have some interaction tonight. But before we get started into all that, just a reminder kind of to ground all this work. Our vision of every learner future ready, and those words are really, really important that we highlight the every learner piece of that. And so equity is all about making sure that every learner has a great experience here in our school district. We've got the mission and our set of beliefs, and in that belief, we have a belief around equity, where we believe that every voice and every student should be able to voice their ideas and opinions. Every community member, they should have resources and opportunities, and that we have high expectations for everyone. We've got our areas of focus, and you know that area of focus around intercultural mindset, how we all need to continue to grow our mindsets because we have all different people in our district who come from different backgrounds and different cultures. We have the High Reliability Schools Framework, which really is a framework that is redefining our system so that the outcome really is equitable outcomes for all. So you see that High Reliability Schools Framework broken out a little more. We want to make sure that everyone in the district feels safe and that we're in a collaborative environment. We want to make sure that every student is in a classroom where there's effective teaching going on. We want to make sure that every student gets access to the curriculum, that they're taught the standards, that they give an opportunity to learn those standards. We want to make sure that our reporting is aligned to the standards that need to be taught, and we ultimately want people to have this personalized learning experience. And again, if we get all that done, then that means that we're going to have these great equitable outcomes. All right, so now we're going to get into the exercise of it. So today we've got some students and parents, family members from some of our schools in the district. We also have some folks who are on our diversity committee, and so we're going to have some interaction. This first exercise is really around building your inclusion and equity lens. I like this quote: in order to see where you're going, you not only must remember where you've been, but we must understand where we've been. So it's not just remember, but why was it that way? So that we can bring improvement to the system. And so we've got some cards here that we're going to give you to actually, the exercise will be that you will have a card. We're going to all get up out of our seats and we're going to go interact. So you'll find a partner who will also have a card. You read that card to each other. So you'll have a card, you read your card to your partner will have a card, they read it to you. And then think about what you're reading and what does it mean, particularly through an equity lens, okay? Make sense? All right, let me give you some cards. You guys could share. Okay, everyone got cards? All right, get up, find a partner. Go find a partner. Huh? No, it's okay. Actually, I do have some. It's going to be over. We'll switch around. Just share. Just share.
That's okay.
All right, maybe take one more minute and finish up that. It's okay. Just hang out. Okay, if I could get your attention back here. All right, in 1, 0. Here we go, up here. All right, if you would switch cards with your partner and then go find another partner. Hey, you give her yours and let her.
I don't have one. I can't exchange that.
All right, if you'll take one more minute to finish up your conversation. I know he had to lay out.
Oh, he was out.
Okay, if I could get your attention back up here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, the kids knew what to do. All right, if you would return to your seats, you can keep your cards. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Hi there. Hi. So board members, a couple of just quick reflections from you of the things that you read on your card. What do they mean to you? How did it make you feel? What was it about?
Well, I look at, I had like 1820 to 1860. And do I need to read this?
You don't need to read it, just kind of.
Reflecting that at this time, schools didn't look like folks like me that were in the schools at that time. And that is too when slavery was going on. So when I read about, you know, folks moving, the immigration, the immigrants arriving to the United States, I just think back in 1820, 1860 that it was different for me and my family than it is now.
Thank you. A couple others?
Well, a couple things. I had a range. Some of the things that interacted were 1870, 1830, 40. But then there was one on 1954 about Brown versus Board of Education. And I guess some things we think we've come a long way, but in some ways we haven't come so far.
Yeah.
And in some ways we think we have, but we really haven't. Just kind of an awakening. You know, in California in 1870, a school district could set up separate schools for white and non-white if they had 10 minority students. And, you know, a range of African American, Native American, you know, so I'm sure many took hold of that.
So, you know, this has ebbed and flowed over history, and I think we had a discussion with one of my partners about it being based in fear, a lot of things based in fear and the unknown, people that are different and wanting to keep those standards, and I think that's why it's so important for us all to keep pushing this, because the minute that you don't push and make people think about where we've been and where we're going or where we need to go, you know, people get lazy and forget, and we revert to those fears. We submit to those fears, and our kids in our schools don't. They deserve every opportunity that everybody else has. So I'm proud of the school district that we're having these conversations, that we're trying to push this forward. But you know, it said to in your quote, in order to see where we are going, and that going place, that's to me not an end. I mean, it's a continuum, and I don't know that we'll ever be there. I think because the minute we think we're there, whatever there is, then again we get to those points where people try and build on that fear and we revert backwards.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, so really quick to echo what John said, I mean, a lot of it had to do with fear. With my partners, I ended up having cards that had a lot to do with immigrants. And historically, and even in today's current events, you see that there's fear of immigrants. You know, that they're arriving and that they're going to change the status quo and upset the status quo, and things are going to change and it's not going to be good. The example that we had was that there were compulsory laws in Massachusetts that were established to deal with immigrant children and how they behaved, and that they needed to be taught how to behave and how to be in school. The other example was that in the 50s, there was an operation to deport 1 million Mexicans who could now provide legal immigration documents. Not only were they deported, but their children that were US-born citizens were also deported. So it was just automatically assumed, hey, they're immigrants, they're different, they're not like us. They need to go.
I mean, and so what year was that? What time frame was that in?
This one was 54. The compulsory laws, where's my partner? What year did we have on there? 1800? 1854.
And it sounds like the discussion we're having today, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so it is important for us to remember. And remember, the individuals who were making these laws back then knew what they knew at the time and thought that they were making the best decisions in that time to run the economy in which they were in. And we do this exercise because I think it's important for us to remember and to understand where we've been. But it's also an eye-opener to know that the laws that are being made today, people are making those with the information that they have today, the environment in which we live in today. But can you imagine 10 years, 15, 20 years down the road, that whole next generation looking back and saying, I can't believe they developed these laws. Just like we're sitting around today saying, ugh, really? And so, but I think that we can get better at it if we begin to look at things through an equity lens. And so this is very true. A system produces what it's designed to produce. These laws were put in place to produce an outcome. And even though laws get changed, sometimes it takes longer to change the system. Because you're talking about people's behavior then, right? And that takes a little bit longer to change. So we're talking about equity literacy. So how do we become more literate around this whole topic of equity? And the first thing is just we have to have an ability to recognize biases and inequities. So a lot of times in conversations, biases may come out, but we just keep going. We don't really stop and pause and have a conversation to say, let's talk about that a minute. I have a different view around that. And so we must first recognize it and then respond to it. And when we respond to it, it isn't to say, you're bad, you're all this. It really is to respond to gain more understanding from yourself, from where they're coming from, but also for you to help them understand your viewpoints as well. And if we really believe that we want our vision to be every learner future ready, how does what you said reinforce that? Right? So that's why I think having this vision and having our mission is so important for us to be grounded in, because that's what drives our conversations. And then redress. So how do we begin to think about the system differently? Okay? How do we begin to think about things that we're going to build a system not where people have to learn how to behave in it, right? We want to build a system that responds to the different backgrounds and cultures of people that's going to help them be successful in it. So then how do we create it and sustain it? Making sure that our environment is free of biases and inequities. And so that's kind of the work that we have to do in the district in bringing and making sure that we have a more equitable system. All right, so we've got families and students here tonight, and thank you so much for taking your time out to come tonight. We really, really appreciate you being here. And so what we want to do now is for you to hear their voice. Right? So we believe in equity of voice and opportunities and resources and expectations. And so we want you to hear it from them of how things are going in the district, how things are going in their environment. And so we've got 3 questions. Do you believe you had the freedom and encouragement to have your voice heard? Do you believe that you've had the same access to opportunities and resources offered by our schools and the system that all other students have? And do you believe that you're held to the same expectations as all other students? And so families and students, we want you to be open and honest about your experience. We do want to hear the good, but we want to hear things that maybe aren't working so well as well. Okay? You guys good with that? All right. Well, here we go. I think I've got a mic. What I'd like for you to do is if you would stand and introduce yourself. Okay, what school you're at, maybe what grade you're in. That would be helpful for the board. And so we're going to get started with question 1. So if you would just respond to question 1. Do you believe that you've had the freedom and encouragement to have your voice heard? Would you guys stand and... All right. So would like for you guys to introduce yourselves. Okay, so maybe just start with you and go down.
My name is Galila. She's my sister, and he's my nephew. I'm from Kirkwood College.
Okay.
And my name is Ruta. Is my son. My name is Ruta. He's my son. She's my sister. I'm from Eritrea. He's going to school Kenwood.
What grade?
Third.
My name is Baruch. I go to Kenwood, and I'm in 3rd grade.
All right, so at Kenwood, do you get an opportunity to share your ideas and opinions and views? So is your voice heard at Kenwood? Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes.
So, so what kind of opportunities do you have to share with your teachers and with your principal and others in the school about your background?
So we talked to me about how was our day and how we're doing and what will we do. Like if you have your test, they tell you what if was your score and how you get better at the test.
Were you born in the U.S.?
No.
Okay. And do you get to share with your classmates about where you were born and where you might have grown up in some of your years?
Yes.
Okay. And does your teacher get to ask you about that and engage you in some lessons around that?
Sometimes she told me about that.
Okay. All right. Very good. Mom, how about you? Do you get an opportunity to come to the school and bring in ideas and suggestions about the education program that your son is getting there?
Before he's going over to school, but we don't know very well the curriculum for the United States. We are immigrated, and so we learn little by little. We have little bit misunderstanding by the language also, but we are learning still now. But this, my son, he changed this year for the Kenwood. So we have tomorrow conversation for the student. I have little bit question what is the Kenwood to be explained for me. So I will get more information tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So you're still being immigrants. You're still learning how the system works, and When you do ask those questions, are you getting answers to those?
Yes. A lot of people, they helping me from school or so, what I need, but still I'm struggling.
Still struggling, still hard to navigate because you don't quite understand it yet. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Monte Autry. This is my daughter, Anya. She attends Johnson in the 5th grade. I'm retired military, and I think the biggest thing as far as us being having the freedom and encouragement to hear our voices, I would have to say yes and no, honestly. Reason being is Johnson is a great school. Love it. Coming from North Carolina to here.
Yay.
So coming from North Carolina to here, she left the magnet school, and it was the same core curriculum from that magnet school as easy to get her easily enrolled into Johnson, because it pretty much is the same core curriculum and the same outset and outline for her education. But the one thing that I've noticed is that there are not a lot of single parent male things that are going on within the school system, period. I'm a single parent father, and I have been for the last 6 years. Also too, what I've noticed is that is in reference to our voices being heard is you look at me, you hear my voice, but at the same time, I've noticed as far as the international side. Her mother was Sicilian. I'm not black. My father was Costa Rican and Spaniard Indian. My mother was African American and Blackfoot Indian. So it's just that stipulation of color that I've been trying to encourage, that, you know, hey, we as single parent fathers, we still are not being heard as well. So definitely want to get more involved into the school, but we don't get the same information maybe that mom gets. So I literally have to go to the school, the principal, Miss Lynch, and her teacher for the last couple of years have been Miss Murphy, and the guidance office there and everybody else. Once I started speaking up, then that's when certain things started to roll and things starting to happen. But we as fathers have to get more engaged in reference to the teachers as well as the administrative staff, but we need help too. So that's the thing that I wanted to say as far as parents, as far as single parent fathers being heard.
Thank you. How about her? Let's have her.
You got something you want to say?
Okay. So I'm Andrea. I'm a translator, and I'm also a parent. I have 4 children in the school district. Myself as a parent, I do think that I do have the freedom to talk to the schools and talk to them, and that they do listen to me. And we have the same last name, so as a Ramirez. So you see, we have a Hispanic last name. And I do feel, me as a parent, I do feel that. And then now let me translate for her. Entonces ya estaba diciendo.
Sí, yo pienso que en la escuela a mí me han escuchado todo el tiempo. Que mi hija que tiene clases especiales, ahí en la escuela Roosevelt me la atendieron muy bien. Y ella progresó mucho cuando entró a esa escuela, y yo agradezco a la escuela por verme apoyado y verme ayudado. Adelante.
So she has a daughter at Roosevelt, and she's saying that she's had struggles with her daughter. Oh, sorry, we're getting emotional. And she's had struggles because of being the language barrier, and that the school has helped them out a lot and has given her the strength and the help and been there to help her out as a mother and give the daughter the classes that she needed and the help that she needs. So for the school being there to help them out being immigrants and not being able, but they were there to hear them, listen to her, and accommodate for her child. So she gives thanks to the school.
Tuve a dos niñas en la escuela Roosevelt y ahorita tengo un niño y mi mami, él está muy a gusto en la escuela porque siempre lo ayudan y lo apoyan y pues es un buen niño y gracias también por ayudar.
So she's had 2 daughters, and now she has a son at Roosevelt, and so they're always helping them out any way they can, and she's so happy to have her son there at the school. Now she has her daughter that goes to Jefferson, and they just help them, and that they're there for them with any support that they need, anything that they need. She can count on the school to help them, and that she's grateful that the kids have that support system from the school.
Thank you. So can you talk about Jefferson? So introduce yourself and just, how are things going at Jefferson?
So I'm Jessica, and I'm a junior, and mostly in Jefferson, they help you out a lot. And sometimes, like, we do have, like, the right to speak out. If we don't know how to, like, do a certain thing, sometimes, like, they'll come up to us and, like, explain more, like, on what we have to do. And, like, they help us out a lot if we kind of don't understand, mostly.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, mimi naitwa Lucy.
My name is Lucy.
Yeah, mimi napenda kuongea kuhusu sisi Amerika imetupokea, tunashukuru kwa hiyo. Sasa tumeleta na mkesha.
So I'm an immigrant, and I would like to kind of talk about how the school in America in general has been.
Yeah, mimi kufika hapa Amerika nimekuja na watoto watatu.
When I arrived, I had 3 kids.
Lakini hivi nimeshakuwa na watoto watano Amerika, niko na watoto 8.
So as of now, I have a total of 8 kids.
Sasa kufika hapa Amerika watoto wameingia katika shule.
And all my, my kids, they're now in school system.
Ya kuwafundisha Kiingereza ilikuwa ngumu sana.
Learning English was a big challenge.
Kuandika, kusoma kwa sababu sio lugha yao.
To read and write was really challenging because it's not their first language.
Sasa kama naenda kuzulia nani mkutano yao.
And especially during the parent and teacher conference.
Yani walikuwa wananiambia eti hao watoto wako hawaelewi, tena tukiwafunza hawaelewi wala kuandika wala Kiingereza hawajui.
Initially, they were telling me how my kids were struggling and how behind they were in the classes.
Mimi nilikuwa nawaambia hivi, hao watoto wametoka Afrika. Hao watoto hawezi kuelewa lugha haraka haraka wala kuandika kama watoto wamezaliwa hapa Amerika.
And I was trying to explain to the teacher that these kids are from Africa, and it will take them time to understand the language.
Lakini mimi chenye nashukuru watoto wangu walianza kusoma kwa hii shule ya Hoover.
But I'm really thankful when they started going to Hoover.
Lakini walijaribu walimu, chenye nashukuru walimu walijaribu sana kunisaidia, kisi nilikuwa naomba mnisaidie na tunasaidiana wazazi na walimu, wakanisaidia mpaka watoto wakaelewa na mpaka watoto wakapanda wakaendelea shule, hivyo wanajua kuongea lugha na kuandika wanaweza kujitahidi.
So at Hoover we were able to work with the teachers and as well as a lot of support that I was able to get to the point where they actually start showing improvement, and even right now they are fluent in English. They can read and write and doing actually great based on support.
Ya chenye naomba watusaidie sana kwa watoto wetu kuongea lugha, kwa sababu lugha kwa kweli hii Kiingereza iko ngumu sana kuliko lugha zetu. Kama mimi hivi niko hapa niko na lugha 10, lakini Kiingereza kiko ngumu kwangu kuelewa.
You said the most important part I want you guys to understand is the language barrier is real, and it's really hard to learn other languages. I speak 10 languages, but I still don't speak English.
Tena chenye nilikuwa nataka nashukuru na watoto wangu walitoka Hoover wakaenda Roosevelt.
Yeah. The other thing is once some of my kids moved from Hoover and went to Roosevelt.
Sasa kufika kule kuna mtoto mmoja niko naye aliwahi kuwa mkorofi, tena kama wanamfundisha vitu haelewi, lakini walijitahidi sana kunisaidia walimu, tukaelewana kabisa wakanisaidia. Yani nawaambia kabisa Mungu awabariki sana, mpaka hadi wanakuja nyumbani kwangu wanafanya mkutano pale kwangu, wanasaidia kila kitu. Yani nashukuru sana kisi wanajitahidi kumsaidia watoto. Tena waendelee kuwasaidia sana kwa sasa watoto wetu hawaelewi sana lugha au tumetoka nao Afrika. Yani mjitahidi sana kuwafunza na kuwaelewa. Atuelewane sisi wazazi, tusaidiane.
Yeah, one of my son was really struggling a lot in the school and actually was behind a lot. And Roosevelt were able to help me. They actually were coming to my house and we have a meeting at my house. The one thing is I want you to understand, it's really a struggle, the cultural difference actually coming from Africa and to adjust, especially for those kids and the teenager. It's a really challenging situation. So I'm really blessed, and actually I want to pray for everybody at Roosevelt for what they've done actually to help my kids.
Ya, na tena kingine chenye nashukuru, na niko na mwingine mtoto msichana sasa hivi na yeye aliwahi kuwa mkorofa na kataa kwenda shule, lakini na yenyewe tena nashukuru amenisaidia sana kusema apende shule. Nilikuwa napenda kubakia nyumbani, lakini na walimu wenyewe niliwaambia hiyo swali yangu, niliwaambia wanisaidie, tusaidiane wazazi, na walinisaidia sana tena mpaka hivi mtoto anapenda shule. Yani mimi nashukuru sana kabisa, wananisaidia watoto wangu. Yani angekuwa wenyewe walimu tushirikiane wanisaidie watoto wangu kabisa, ungekuwa iko chini sana, ungekuwa walishapanda juu.
So I have a daughter of mine who was refusing to go to school, and I did everything that I could. I couldn't get her to go to school, but I called the school, and the support they provided, and actually sent some counselors to come to the house. They talked to the kid, and now she's actually attending school. So I don't have any words to say except just to be thankful for everything that Roosevelt have done.
Na kingine mtusaidie sisi wazazi kupata kazi. Unajua hata kama tujue lugha, lakini nguvu za kutumika tuko nazo. Unaweza tutafutia kazi na sisi tunapata kazi. Hata kwa masomo, kufanyia na kufanya kila kitu tunaweza fanya. Kwa sababu Afrika tuko tunafanya kazi za nguvu. Na sisi tunahitaji msaada sisi wazazi, na sisi wa majaji mtusaidie kama nyinyi gisi mko.
See, beyond the support with the kids, even as parents, we actually need some support. I mean, things like in employment. I mean, yes, we have a language barrier and some challenges. We can work when we want to work. I mean, from the school system, we can sweep, we can do some of those works, because that actually will really help us, not just us, but also even the kids.
Ya, nashukuru sana, Mungu awabariki kwa sababu walisaidia sana walimu sana. Hata mwalimu mkubwa yuko hapa. Wanani waluze kwetu. Yana nijitahidi sana kunisaidia watoto wangu sana.
So, and thank you for everything, especially the Roosevelt principal over there. They've done amazing to help me out.
Hold on.
Hi, my name is Paris, and my two kids right here attend Johnson. This is my son, Terry. He's a 4th grader. This is my daughter, Denasia. She's a 3rd grader. We're fairly new to the area. We moved here from North Liberty. From day one, like, Johnson opened us with open arms. Like, they gave us resources and just little things around the area. And like my daughter, she struggles with reading. Like, she's not the best reader. And they help her throughout the day, twice a day, helping her get like her reading up in words and spelling. So, I mean, I'm a single parent. I have 4 kids. Like, I can't help as much as I should. Like, I want to help more, but sometimes I can't do it. So I just appreciate the fact that they're there to help both of my kids, but especially my daughter with her reading. So I don't know if they want to say anything, but they don't want to say anything.
How do you like it at Johnson? Good? You like your teachers? You? Good job. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Marcy Roundtree, and I have 3 children at Washington High School, and I'm going to stick with the question on tonight. And yes, I do feel like there is an atmosphere set where our voices can be heard. I have a sense that there is that the present principal there, that he really is trying to set up a atmosphere where that is more allowed, that parents feel more comfortable with approaching him about certain issues that whether it's cultural or academics or whatever it is. So yes, I do feel like that it is an environment where my voice can be heard. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Dedrick Roundtree.
You're Marcy's husband.
I'm her husband. I have the same 3 kids that attend Washington High School, but I'm also an educator. I educate here in the district at both Grant and Truman Elementary, and I can, from a teacher standpoint, I can see a lot of things that you guys are initiating to make sure that every student, every day, sincerely gets all those resources, not necessarily handed to them, but at least it's there. It's there, and it's provided, and it's making a difference. So keep it up. Thank you.
All right, so maybe a question for any of you families. Do you believe that you have access to all the opportunities just like every other student in your school? So do you believe that all of those opportunities, that they are open to you, that you have an opportunity to go to them and to participate in them? So that's the question. So who might want to respond? If I get no hands, I will call on. I saw Jeffrey or Terry.
Yes.
I knew that was coming out. I'm so gullible. And maybe the other question is there something that you have wanted to participate in, but you really just could not? And what was that, or what is that?
I wanted to participate on Girls on the Run, but it was all filled up.
It's like a running program, but they'll let her in the spring, but that was something she was doing.
Too many slides.
Okay, mimi nilikuwa nataka kuambia kuhusu kuhusu kama michezo ya watoto. Kuna michezo ya watoto ambao naona wanaenda kucheza ingine state, watoto wanajulikana mchezo kwa mbali, kuna vingine wanacheza watoto michezo tofauti mingi, lakini watoto wetu hiyo michezo sijaiona kwa watoto wetu. Hiyo ndio yenye mimi naona tunakosa, kwa sababu wengine watoto wazuri michezo wetu naona kila kitu wanapata huduma za kila kitu.
So the only gap that I see, and it really challenges, it's enrichment programs. I don't think our kids have access to enrichment programs, because we see other kids, they do go to different places, do different activities, after school activities, but our kids, they just at home sitting, so we don't have enrichment opportunities.
Ni kwa sababu ya lugha na watoto wanahamia, mimi kama nikipata, mimi nafikiri kama wanaweza kuwapatilia kwa sababu kama ya lugha, wala kwa sababu watoto walikuwa wanajulikana, lakini sisi hatujulikani. Mimi nafikiria hiyo.
So I think one is, apart from the language, also I think is probably income, and also that the other general public, they know, other parents know about these things that we don't know anything about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
For Maria, she was saying that she feels that she does have the opportunity for her children and the resources, especially for her daughter that has special needs. And Roosevelt helped her, and they gave the resources that her child needed to be successful in class. And now she's getting that special help in Jefferson. So she feels that they do give them the opportunity and to help her children be successful in their academics.
I did not get to introduce you.
Oh, sorry, no. Hi, I'm Sue Millar. I'm a McKinley parent. And do I need to talk into this? I'm kind of a loud talker, so I'll talk into this.
Yeah, that'd be great.
In answer to question 1, yes, I'm heard, probably too much, according to Mr. Martinez. But we've had a fantastic experience at the schools. We were Johnson family, now we're McKinley family. I live in the neighborhood, Wellington Heights neighborhood. I live 2 blocks from McKinley. And so I would say that my particular experience has been different than obviously a lot of you all. But I did have a unique experience last year, which is why I'm here tonight. And that is that we had a weird, I hope it's okay to talk about this. Jason's like, whatever. We did have a weird experience where there were some parents who were very upset about behaviors at McKinley. Now, we have a fantastic administration at McKinley, and I would say that for well, let me just back up. Anyway, this group of parents met, and it made me realize that there were many, many white parents in this district who had zero idea what implicit bias is. Okay, just like had never heard those 2 words together, didn't understand what it was, didn't understand that if you think all the black kids are being naughty, that there is something wrong with that way of thinking in our educational system. Anyway, so Jason and the staff at McKinley sort of took that whole situation and turned it into something that I think was very positive. He started a group called the CAT Group, which is the we're always like, what does that mean again? Community Advisory Team. And we invited all sorts of people from the McKinley community, and it's still getting off the ground, but I think it's been an opportunity for people to get together and share what we want our school community to be. So I guess I'm rambling a little bit, sorry. As a white mother, I would love to have some guidance from the board. How do we teach our fellow white parents what implicit bias is? I mean, I have conversations with people all the time about it. But is there something that the district can formalize so I can say, okay, go to this on the website? And I know the posters are fantastic, but you know what I mean? Like there seemed to be, I was shocked at how many people didn't have even the language that was available. So anyway, I just want to say that the McKinley staff is knocking it out of the park. I feel like all of our students have access to everything. Anyway, babble. That's all, I guess.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, families, for sharing and being open. So, board, I would ask you, maybe as you heard things, just any reflections that you had as you heard the voices of parents and students of their experience, and it sounds like overall positive experience, but I think you also heard that there's some challenges as well. So,
well, first of all, I want to thank you all for coming out and sharing all of this information with us as a district. That was really important. I think as a single father, it's nice to know that we need to be offering some additional programming as a single parent. The enrichment program, looking into that and seeing how everyone has access to it. So I appreciate you sharing that information with us. And it's really so nice to hear at Cedar Rapids Schools, we are doing some great things in this district. And it's because of parents like you that are sharing this information that only makes us get better.
Well, again, I'd like to thank you all for coming in and having the courage to stand up in front of us and speak your mind. Thank you so much. It is it's enlightening, and it's very helpful for us. some of the challenges, some of the things that I see as a board, one I think Dr. Buck talked about at the beginning is trying to find more translators. We have a search out, we have some openings for it, and I think you've certainly given us some reason why we need to have those and how important they are. And the other, I'm always amazed and thankful for the diversity that this community has. I think it makes us stronger as a community as we have the ability to listen and work with you. And I truly hope that we continue to be a welcoming community for you. And again, it was enlightening to hear that we are making a difference from the staff working to try to have every child future ready. So thanks again. We have some work to do, but this was helpful.
So thank you from myself and the rest of the board. I think that it brings to mind that as a board we have three main things that we really work on, and that's to make sure that we have the best superintendent who leads all of these other staff that are here and in our buildings. And I think we have an amazing superintendent who is listening to the board. We represent the community and some of your voices, and I'm excited to meet people like Lucy and others in the room tonight to hear additional voices of the community. So thank you for that. The other thing of it is we really have to ensure that we have good policies in place. So policies that drive towards every student being future ready, that we have policies that ensure that equity and diversity are part of our mission, that we put it in writing and that we hold each other accountable for that. That's important to us as a board. And the third thing is that we have funds to be able to support that equal, equitable education for all of our students. And that's the most challenging thing, to be honest, right now for the board. As we see public education funds being cut, when I look at students like some of Lucy's children, who maybe haven't had the opportunity to get to some of those after-school programs, that costs us as a district more funds to do those sorts of things, to support students that have special challenges or special needs. That costs more money. To help parents overcome some of the language barriers or cultural barriers, or as a single father to provide programming and things, the school district, we want to do those things. It takes extra funds, extra efforts to do that. It's not all free. But that reminds me, I'll get off my soapbox here in a minute, that reminds me that we're part of a community. This is a community school district. So hopefully people that are listening and all of you going out after this will remind others in the community that this is not just the responsibility of the school district, it's everybody's. It's a shared responsibility, Cedar Rapids and beyond. So hopefully that message gets out there. We have a lot of conversations. There's political people coming in, candidates coming in and talking. Ask them about if they support education. Ask them if they realize that there's, how many different languages did you say, Dr. Buck? 60-some different languages, 1,500 students. That's almost 10% of our student enrollment are from immigrant families speaking different first languages. So remind them and ask them about those things too, I would say.
Gracias por haber llegado esta noche para hablar con nosotros. Don't worry, I'll do it in English, not in Spanish. No, really though, I mean, it's a reminder for us as a board, that we have a lot of important decisions that we make, and we represent a large and diverse community of Cedar Rapids. And it's been that way, it continues to grow that way, and that's our reality. Now, with that being our reality, we have to take into consideration our students and their families, and remember that whether or not they're lifelong Cedar Rapidians, or maybe first day or first week Cedar Rapidians, they're welcome. We want them in our schools. We want them to feel a part of something. We want them to have access to the resources that are out there. We want that equity for all things with our district. I think we've done a pretty good job working with Dr. Buck and the rest of the administration to ensure that. But as with anything, it can always be better. You can always do better. There's always those opportunities. And for us, it's going to be a continued evolution. I would one day love to see this exercise 100 years from now, where there will be something about the Cedar Rapids School District 100 years ago that says, oh, here's what they did. That's how we're here right now. Not all of us looking at this saying, what were they thinking back then? To be able to look that far in the future and implement and incorporate things that we're doing now to know that we were on the right path, on the right track. I feel that we are on the right path, on the right track as a board, so excited about that. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming again.
I love that. So everything like this guy always wants to talk. I'm sure he wants to say something. So, so thank you to this board. Thank you for the direction. When I was hired here 4 years ago, the main conversation in that hiring was, we're serious about every learner, and we're concerned about the gaps that exist in our data sets, and we intend and expect to close those gaps to the benefit of all of our students in our community. And so laying that out and then supporting through policies and budgets and direction, we are making positive progress. And so it's an honor for me to serve as superintendent. I will tell you, I don't know if I've been more proud of being superintendent than I am through some of the stories I've heard tonight. So the staff members in our schools, the work that we're doing, and you know, one of the things that stuck with me, we have this billboard thing that's gone on, and it says every learner future ready, and then there's this little arrow that says yes every, and that we're moving the direction of really working to serve all of our kids is a pretty exciting thing. And there's a sentence that resonates with me, and that is, as we get more diverse, we get even better. And I think that is the charge for Cedar Rapids. So I would just leave it at that. Thanks for being here tonight. It's been awesome.
And so audience, if you would do me a really big favor, and let's give our school board a round of applause for the great work that they do. And go back into your hands.
Before we recess tonight's meeting, once again, thank you all for being here. And if the folks aboard, if you can take your notes and also the calendar. And with no further business, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.